マーケットね。
すごい迷宮だ。あの商品はどこに？あそこだ。でもどうすれば。わかった。ふっよっと。はっはっよし。
ありがとう、全マーケット。
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the ACL, where Milky Sports are up 1-0 over the Peach Cats. Peach Cats are reeling from a rough game number 1 loss. Going to see if they can get themselves back into it for game number 2. Staying on the blue side, 10 champions fearless away. Brand new draft, Jay Beto.
And Peach Cat's back on the blue side, like you said. Not wanting to opt for any counter picks later on in the draft. I assume we'll see very similar bans, the Azir, probably the Orianna for Milk Esports here as well. The Wukong was banned away, something that maybe Milk Esports don't go towards this game because there is only 2 of those highly prioritized jungle AD bruisers left. You could add Pantheon into that list as well, and there's 3 to trade over. But I think it's rough to give over Wukong if that's what Peach Cats are highly prioritizing. It's a very strong jungler. Poppy is available though. I think that's not terrible into Wukong at the dash, so I think you could go Poppy. You could also go to like the lower down AD bruiser in Vi. Obviously you do get outscaled by the Wukong, but I think jungle contestation here important, and the support as well. I mean, I think Obstinus has had a really good start to that game after the awful level 1 getting chunked out, heal, flash, had to base, but had a pretty decent pop blossom in the top side of the map. But later on, slow start in the mid game, quiet end of that game as well. Not a whole lot of value found from the Nico, so I'd love to see more from this player.
Yeah, absolutely here. So I'm very curious to see what we see out of Fi Mini in this game number 2, where again we do see that his champion pool is getting attacked pretty directly. Will we get to see something like the Yone come on through from him, where he is willing to bust out some of those melees from time to time, even though he is a player that we really associate a little bit more with the mage style of play from ACL's past. But when he was in NACL very briefly this year, is the Yone that was his most played, right alongside the Azir. That was still kind of marksman mid-meta, so there was a lot of Tristana in there as well, as there would have been for any player at that time, but not something that people will pick as much right now. That's an Amumu ban. How about, here's my question. Is that Sejed's code? Okay, no, we took it away. It was a mistake. All right. I was going to say, is Sejed cooking Amumu support in solo queue? No, I think the answer is Amumu is another champion that starts with AM as we recreate the draft for stream.
Okay, same 6 bans here to start with. What is Peach Cat's first look here? Xin Zhao's open. Ryze is open. You could go another blind top like the Ornn. If you wanted to go the jungle, Pantheon's still open, Vi's still open. It is going to be the Xin Zhao pick here for Peach Cats. No Trundle, which is one of Xin Zhao's hardest matchups. Milk Esports here to pick. There's the Ryze. So I am a big fan of Ryze. That's another mage for Fi Mini, like you said. And there's the Pantheon. So these AD junglers still getting heavily prioritized by both of these teams. I think for both teams here, mostly Peach Cat, I'm a really big fan of Poppy. I think Poppy's really strong. Going Poppy support here could be good. You could keep a flex into top. You do need something to lock down this Ryze, however. So it could be a Nautilus look that runs into Braum, so it's risky. I'd love to see a mid answer here. Galio would make the most sense for Peach Cats, however. But it's actually going to be the Hui.
All right, little range advantage, kind of turning the matchup on its head from what we saw in game number 1, where Fi Mini able to find himself a pretty significant advantage off of the range lead that he had over a Sylas Talia. Now it's going to be a Syla who has that slight range advantage, and going to just try to keep this Ryze shoved on in while he tries to scale up. Stray, going back to his roots, going to pick himself up that Cassante as a nice safe blind top laner, and Peach Cat's going to save the later half of the draft for their bottom lane to see if they can eke out a solid matchup for Array and Obstinatus up against, again, this is off-roll Sejed at support, so perhaps some opportunities to punish a more limited pool there. You had some questions about the Karma selection in game number 1. Perhaps a career support does not pick the Karma there, and perhaps that's somewhere that Peach Cats can try to take advantage.
And the Kai'Sa here, a bit early in the draft. Now, what you want to pair with this is obviously C. You've got a good amount of it, so I think that you can still build a really good comp around the Kai'Sa. I think Peach Cat's not banning out supports here is a mistake. I think ban the Nautilus, ban Alistair. See the Bard and Xayah being banned away. Neither of these teams really heavily investing into support. Sure, there's a Bard ban there. But I also think Rumble is something that's scary here for Milk Esports. Would love to see Rumble on 4 here and support on 5. I know that's a lot of AP damage, but you could go crit Kai'Sa this game. Nah, actually, the option here into the Cassante. So a little bit older of a matchup here, but still a counter in this now.
Yeah, no, a comfortable matchup where Hoarders should have the priority, should have some availability to split push, but also some power to be a big flanker later on. And again, love the ability to invert fights here from Milk. Can just get in there, get the Gnar onto multiple members, get Plasma procs onto them, allow Levitate to get to the back line. A little bit of a self-counter pick here for Array, who snaps up the Ezreal against Kai'Sa. They will pair it on up with the Alistar to give themselves a little bit more disengaged power in a team comp where they do already have a significant range advantage. Gonna be hard to collapse that range advantage with just support. So Colimer might be cooking here a little bit. There's that Poppy you called out earlier. Gonna make life tough for the Cassante, for the Alistar, for the Xin Zhao. But notably, Hui and Ezreal not going to be too impacted by it. So I think Peach Cat's really kind of going all in on a bit of a poke comp here.
There is no other answer in support here at all. It is amazing into Alistar. It completely stops him from doing anything. One of the only supports that can truly lock down an Ezreal if you land on top of him. Your timing has to be great, sure, but still a great matchup. It's good into Cassante with the small amount of mobility. Outside of ult, if he's not ulting you over the wall, small amount of mobility. It's good into Xin Zhao as well. It pairs well with Poppy. It can ult away. Like, it's just so good here. Great pickup from Milk Esports. I'm keen to see how Sajed does on this pick.
Indeed. Looking at the lobby right now, we do indeed have the same players. It does look like it is going to be Sajed staying in at support. So Manui off of the map for this game. Does look like Array and Stray have turned off streamer mode. Griffin clearly does not care to. So and it will make things a little bit easier going here. Griffin's in-game name is Shanbao Wei anyway, so I don't think that was really going to help anybody.
Yeah, these players like to have a bit of fun with their names. I will say, if you've ever played the MOBA Smite, I've cast a bit of that, and you can, right now in Smite 2, you can change your name at any time you want with no cost. Like just game to game. That was really hard to cast, really frustrating when players would just come out with the most out-of-pocket things known to man. Sometimes you got to reel some players back in, but these players obviously taking this very seriously. This is very important. You know, again, coming back to the point, this is fall 2025 ACL. There is already lots of talks and discussions about 26 rosters and how they're going to look, as Array will find Kisno walking into a brush. No ward gets placed down. By Levitate wants to hold on to that, but Kisno will take some magic to the face.
Oh, not going to be the massively influential level 1 exchange that we had in game number 1 for the bot lane. So things already looking up for Array and Obscenitus, so the counter pick from old Sajed definitely going to make things a little bit more difficult. Obscenitus going to be holding out for later game and just kind of here with Array for the early levels. Probably going to try to just get his roam on after a couple of levels are put into the tank for him here and try to see if he can influence some of these less mobile lanes, particularly mid. 5mini going to have to be pretty careful here as that Alistar is going to feel quite obligated to get over there. An aggressive early flash from Sajed, just landing that hammer shock and getting level 2 for himself and Levitate first and foremost.
That was very aggressive from Sajed. I expected a level 2 coming through there. Maybe Milk Esports did too, but still chunking down Array pretty significantly. He should be able to be fine with those, that pot and Alistar passive. So realistically, you use Ghost for Obscenitus' heal, and Sajed flashes for that engage. Does have Hex Flash, so it's mostly okay, but still doesn't hurt Peach Cats all that much.
Indeed, it doesn't. There will be a little bit of an exchange of blows here to start things off, and not going to have too substantial of a lead in that bottom lane for the level lead that was built up. Obscenitus going to test out Sajed's reaction speed there. I think Sajed is going to succeed on that test pretty frequently.
Both junglers clearing down to the bot side. There was a ward on the Peach Cats Raptors. So Milk Esports will know that this Zinza is pathing down. Hopefully won't get caught by a gank. Looks like Kizno is much faster on the clear, so should be able to go for this scuttle. Both junglers miss each other with the vision plant actually, but we'll know each other's there. Griffin maybe hovering into the mid lane. Kizno started up the scuttle crab. Looks like that Griffin is just going to see that, run through the mid lane up for a scuttle trade.
Absolutely. Going to be making sure that he can secure this top side one. Has a Scylla there for the backup, layering down some vision to keep track of where Kizno is. Mini currently in the process of TPing back to mid. He did pick up his tier, the Goddess, so he's going to be able to start stacking that up on time. Always want to make sure to get that first recall off on the rise as early as you possibly can. Obscenitus, I think you're going to regret testing Shed like this, man. It's just going to cost you some health every time.
Yeah, it's a reaction game for Shed, but so far passes the test, and Obscenitus is going to have to be creative with how this Alistar approaches these fights, and creativity from support. On some champions, not the highest, but I think Alistar does a really good job, or can do a really good job, sorry, of being extremely creative with how he approaches fights. There we go. Kizno tries to stop the base, but... Right, Sajed, it's not Kizno. I keep getting caught by this. And maybe I'm gonna
I wonder how you could ever make such a mistake, Chivetto. It's almost like Sajed is actively inviting this sort of confusion with how he's named himself in game. That aside, Obscenitus finally connects one of those headbutts. Just has to wait in the bush and connect it at point blank. It does successfully allow for Array to get his first recall off. He gets his tier as well. So Muramana user going to be in a similar boat to Mini. He wants to get those stacks going as early as possible.
And we've got double cull, 2 tiers in the game, a Rise, a Kai'Sa. We've got a Pantheon that needs level 6 and potentially more levels. This is a quiet start to the game, but I think expectedly so. Both teams happy to handshake, ping pong these waves. No player really going down any CS. There's a bit of a CS discrepancy in the bot lane in favor of Levitate, but
ooh, nice
over the wall
coming through there from Stray. He wants to try to solo kill Hoarder here. Hoarder was forced to flash up at that top side. Meanwhile, it is Griffin trying to get the fight started on the bottom side. That's going to be Sajed actually, chunked to about half HP. The real Kizno stepping up with the shield, going to try to get himself away. A big triple knockup from Obscenitus, but they still can't pick up the first blood. It goes the way of Levitate. Make it 2 as Griffin is executed as well. Mini finds a Scylla in transit, and Comet Spear will take him down. 3 to Milk Esports. Stray completes his solo kill, but he is mauling over what's happening on the bottom side.
I will say Hoarder definitely oversteps there. Has TP available? Just TP, man. Just base. Get some health back. Get some armor on. It's double AD top, but it is a great fight from Milk Esports. You can really see the steadfast presence value from not Kizno, from Sajed. And really nice roam from the real Kizno, roam down from Mini, gets the flash out of Asila, which heavily favors the Rise, especially when you're with a Pantheon. And Sajed will get stunned out, but movement speed from Poppy, if wants to press W, doesn't even need to, just is able to walk away. 3 kills. The Milk Esports already has the Feat of Warfare claimed, and 2 of those kills over to the Pantheon in this early game now has level 6. I'm a bit scared for Peach Cats here. This Pantheon might start to run away with this.
Yeah, obviously the fight bot side more impactful. Triple knockup from Obscenitus, doing so much to try to set them up, but I mean, Ezreal's in such an early game, and you're up against Pantheon and Kai'Sa and Poppy, who just have such high base damages. It's enough for Kizno to be able to find the advantage. And yeah, Mini, we didn't get to see much of the interaction in mid lane, but Asila gets caught in transit and takes a really negative trade up against that Rise, meaning that it kind of is just more fuel to the fire. He doesn't do much of anything impactful and instead just gets himself executed to put this Pantheon up 2 kills.
Well, small win here for Peach Cats. We're able to get the first Drake. And up against the scaling come from Milk Esports, that feels pretty good because ideally Milk Esports are the one that want that first Drake and some time to sit on one so that, you know, Peach Cats can't start stacking these Drakes. But obviously with the first one going over to Peach Cats, that is a good win. Lanes will go back to Milk Esports winning. I think that Stray feels pretty happy about this. You lose a plate here, you lose a little bit of CS, but with that solo kill, feels just fine. 3 grubs, however, uncontested so far. Milk Esports claim the first, but here comes Griffin.
Stray going to have the TP up soon, but it's going to take so long here at 8 minutes. Instead, they're going to try to force this engage, pulling back away Hoarder. He's stuck in the mini stance. That's going to be a kill given over to Griffin. 2 grubs secured for Milk, but they will have to retreat at that point. Still, the lead in the objectives will be held by Milk, but going to, or the lead in that particular objective held by Milk. Peach Cats did get that first dragon.
Yeah, roam up from Levitate. Drops quite a lot of minions down in the bot lane there. I mean, he's already up CS, so it's kind of okay, but Array's able to just run straight top after going the grubs and start pushing, so we'll even up that CS differential in a good amount. We're able to start laying into this tower as well. The lane swap from Peach Cats is pretty decent, as well as the, you know, no AP damage really from Kai'Sa yet, so the armor that Cassante has already started to stack will mean that Stray will be completely fine in this lane, but Hoarder so far, leaving a performance that has been leaving something to desire so far on this a counter matchup. Got solo killed and then entered that fight way too late. Got pinched and sandwiched by Peach here, and I need to see more from this Nah. I'm a bit worried if this is the performance so far on this Nah. Stray's had an uncontested lane, really not really down that much CS. But Milk Esports do get the 2 grubs. They are still scaling up, so as long as Hoarder can reel it back in a little bit, take these fights a little bit more cohesively with his team, and Kisno maybe impacting that lane a bit with Grand Starfall would be nice too.
Yeah, you know, the Gwen is Hoarder's specialty. He'll be dominant any matchup he can find where that Gwen looks good, but Cassante matchups, that is Stray's territory, and he is plenty happy to be able to get his hands on this, even as a blind selection. It shows why in this game. Stray, his time in the NACL this spring was a little bit disappointing, but you know, it's especially disappointing because it made a liar out of me, right? Because he looked so good in fall 2024 ACL. He was taking names and numbers. He was beating players like Samudo in lane. I want to see him back to that form as there's a gank coming through onto Asila, and he will be easily executed by a full squad of Kisno, Sajed, and Phi Mini.
Great ult here from Kisno. That's really what you need to see by the Pantheon. This champion will fall off to become just a stun bot later on. It will do damage, sure, especially when low HP, and it's really good with the Q smite on Pantheon, but getting active early, getting gold onto Rise is a massive deal, shutting out a Stealer. As all out.
Going all in here. Stray thinks he's got another solo kill. Doesn't land the third and Tofo strikes, but he does have the flash, and he's happy to exchange him with Hoarder. Maybe wishing he had held that, as I think True Shot Barrage was about to connect from Array. Wouldn't have been a kill, but maybe would have made things a little tighter. Either way, flash down for both top laners.
And Stray really comfortable on this Cassante matchup, like you mentioned before, and it's continuing to look rough for Hoarder. You're pushing in, and all of a sudden you're getting all in and nearly dead. Now, next time it will happen because you won't have flash. If anyone was around, if that was a gank, you're absolutely dead. And there is decent vision for Milk Esports, but might be dead anyway.
Yeah, going all in on a Hoarder here. This guy blew his flash earlier on, and that is going to be an easy donation over. Maybe wishing you could have given that to Array, but it does go the way of Griffin. TP now being channeled. This is Stray coming in behind enemy lines. Realm Warp showing up from Phi Mini, though. An opportunity to rain damage through everybody with the Spell Flux. Griffin the first one to fall as Kisno isolates him and hits him with the Comet Spear. Stray in a 1 versus 3 gonna get bashed into the wall. Executed by Levitate. Meanwhile, Kisno running amok on the other side of the fight was able to find Array and take him out. And Peach Cats get way more than they bargained for in a fight that they opted into.
And Hoarder, not the most exceptional performance, but his team has got his back. Flash over the wall from Sajed, won't find anything, but the Realm Warp from 5 Mini. Beautiful gank down from Milk Esports after Hoarder takes another stumble. And Stray walks up top after pulling the flash out of Hoarder and then is instantly forced to TP down to continue the fight. Dragon now over to Milk Esports as well. it's really the only win condition right now is ganking Hoarder over and over again, getting some gold out, but double kill for Levitate, 1 kill over to Fire Mini, 4 kills on Kizno. The scaling comp, getting gold is a bit scary for Peach Cats.
Yeah, and Levitate getting this gold is especially dangerous here. This guy's coming off a pentakill on the Corki, but I do think Kaisa is his best champion. This is the one that he has really made his highlight reel on, and he gets it blind this game and somehow ends up in the Ezreal matchup anyway. I don't know what kind of mind control going on for Milk Esports in this game, but he's plenty happy in that matchup, and now that he's 2-0, he's ready to run amok in these team fights.
And if you're talking about pentakills between Corki and Kaisa, I know who I'm taking for a pentakill. It's definitely Kaisa. There could be a second pentakill brewing, as the Q upgrade will be completed by Levitate, waiting on the E evolved. I am interested to see what build you go towards. I assume it's going to be the on-hit variety with the AP variant, just due to the tank nature of Alistar and Cassante and wanting a bit more high HP damage. The thing is about Milk Esports comp here is they are very low range. So later on against Ezreal, against Hui, there could be situations where if PC are able to catch back up just a little bit, these fights are quite difficult for Milk Esports if they're not able to find these engages, right? I need to see Sajed continue to have a good performance. I need to see Kizno continue to find these engages with either the ult or just the stun. It is point and click, so can land onto these members pretty easily, but if that's not happening, you are significantly outranged.
Absolutely, and that's what we're going to be on the lookout for. It is hard for them to just hard start these fights unless it's Kizno throwing himself into the back line. A flash engage from Obstinatus, going to be able to find this chain CC onto Fi Mini, and there's enough damage from Griffin here to finish him up, but what a knockaway from Sajed. Roll swap incoming as he finds his way out of the fight for Fi Mini.
That is just outstanding. That he is 100% dead. Fi Mini is 100% dead if Sajed does not hit that. On the other side as well, you're cross-mapping. You got the Herald. You're not able to get any towers. A little bit of damage, chip damage here in the bot side. Nothing in the top side at all. And if you were able to get a kill there, it feels fine, but you weren't. Now Levitate potentially caught.
A little bit of damage coming on through there towards Obstinatus, but the return fire from Array looking plenty fine. We'll be able to push them back in the mid lane. A little bit of poke back and forth, but nobody really going to find any lasting impact, as there's a while to go before its objectives are out on the field. Kizno with that Rift Herald in tow. Just towards the bottom side, is one Rift Herald charge away from being able to claim that tower. We'll see if he wants to try to pair up with Fi Mini to bust that open, or if they're just going to save it for this upcoming Dragon. It is 1-1 in that department. Milk not really on the runaway Dragon count that they were in game number 1, but they do have a similar gold lead. Here's going to be Sajed finding the knock up into the wall. Obstinatus going to have to use Unbreakable Will, keep himself standing, but does do so.
Now also got to be pretty careful. Has to use the ult there because no phase rush. If you did, you know, you could WQ auto, get hit by the knock up from Sajed, but still have enough movement speed to run away. Doesn't, so needs to use the ult. Doesn't expend heal, so saves that at least. And a thing to note, I mean, both these supports going Spellbook haven't really seen a whole lot of crazy swaps over yet. No TPs to go for some crazy ganks, but an option for sure. Keeper's Verdict is nearly available again for Sajed. Obstinatus hovering over the wall, does have Hex Flash, but it will be spotted by the ward if he Hex Flashes over into the brush. So instead, just opts for a little bit of vision contest here, clearing out some of his own jungle. 45 seconds on the next Drake. It's only second Drake for either team. I think that Peach Cats might need to save this as a raise. Caught, forces Viper, here's a TP.
Yeah, a little far up there, maybe looking somewhere else on the map. Gets engaged on by Kizno, but that's a nice angle found by Griffin, knocking them away with the Crescent Guard. It's a support brawl on the bottom side as Shed and Obstinatus exchange blows, but Levitate's low, Kizno is low. Gonna force some recalls here, and a flash engage from Griffin will isolate and execute that Fed Pantheon. So Shed gonna be forced to flash away as well. Peach Cats find an angle, they find a fight, and this Dragon should be theirs.
There's the range advantage from Peach Cats coming in. Array gets stunned, cleanses it away, and now no one from Milk Esports can truly land on top of him. Sealer TP's in as well, and they just lay into Milk Esports from a couple of screens away. Here comes Sachet trying to make a dive potential happen, but it's really hard against a Cassante. Will force him away from the tower, however. Heal comes out. I think Stray should be safe, though. This is very difficult to dive. We'll be able to walk away, but 2 Drakes now over to Peach Cats and some life in this second game.
Yeah, will be a cross-map exchange of turrets. First turret will go the way of Milk. Relevant there, as I do think that secures them defeats. So
yeah,
they will be the ones rocking those upgraded boots. But Stray does manage to keep himself alive, absorbs that gank coming through from Sejed. At the very least, not going to give over any more than he intended to.
Peach Cats in the first game rolled over and died with very little contest in this second game. Finding signs of life, some good team fights. Second Drake for themselves. Finding some much needed gold as well. They are still down, and Milk Esports will outscale. In an all-in fight, when all champions are in melee range, Milk Esports will win handedly. However, the range advantage is very big. We saw it happen in that fight. Herald is spawning. Oh, sorry, has already been taken. Baron is spawning in a couple of minutes. Adakon.
Order caught in mini form again. They're going to be able to execute him. That kill going the way of Obstinatus. Probably wishing that had gone elsewhere, but they'll take their free pick. And now Kizno trying to make something happen on the bottom side again. It's going to be Stray trying to hold on to this turret, and beautiful use of the Rift Herald. Kizno just gets in here, and they're going to steal away an inner turret from nowhere. So much money packed into these things will really balloon the gold lead for Milk, although they will be trading it for another outer elsewhere.
Check this license, see can he drive? As looks like Crash did go into the wall. Adakon has spawned in the bot side. And pings are coming out from Milk Esports if they want to start that up. They do have a lot of damage.
Shelly? Okay, there she is.
In from Hoarder. Yeah, she's just chilling around, having a look at some flowers, exploring the map a little bit.
Silent doesn't have TP. Silent not going to be able to get involved in this. Stray going to find a little angle onto Sejed. They're going to try to take the fight, but it is 4 versus 5. Griffin loses all of his health almost immediately. Kizno tanking things up on the opposite side. He's going to fall down to one more boulder from Hoarder. Array going to be forced to flash over this wall soon. Obstinatus has popped the Unbreakable Will, but it won't last too long. Feynman, he takes a roam warp over the wall to be able to get back involved in the fight, but they find the CC on the Levitate. He stepped up too far, and Array will be able to execute him. The Otacon reset in the meanwhile. They aren't going to be able to finish this with Kizno low on health, and somehow Peach Cats stay alive despite getting themselves into a dicey situation.
Some classic ADC, seeing red there, just W keying forwards, and running in with the Void Seeker doesn't do a whole lot. With your team's not there, right? Your Pantheon is on Adakon, and Fine Mini does try to continue the chase out with Realm Warp, but goes the opposite direction. Levitate just caught out. You can't have that happen. That's a massive mistake. You win the fight. You're starting Adakon. You're back in the driver's seat, and PC find a big win.
Great stuff from Peach Cats here. You know, they're not really catapulting themselves into the lead. They don't get the huge slingshot, but they're stopping Milk from taking a really definitive advantage, and they do have themselves still conditions to play through, right? Getting more time, more items. They're now on 2 items on the way, 2 items on the Ezreal. They feel good about their ability to stand and poke in these team fights from this sort of position, and as the Otacon becomes the focus once again, this time they've got all 5 members in the area. As long as they don't make mistakes on their carries and retain control of the mid lane, they feel good about this fight. There's going to be an attempted engage from Kizno, but they are able to create the space. Syla puts Stray between himself and danger. Array gets the inside track onto mid. They will be able to take this turret. They're looking for an engage on a Fi Mini now. They think that this Rise is up too far, and they might be right. Fi Mini going to be forced to retreat away. Syla, though, steps up maybe a little too far, gets jumped on by Kizno and Levitate, and he'll be executed. Levitate with the first kill of the fight, but they're still going to try to take this on the side of Peach Cats. Chain CC onto Stray. Kizno able to execute him with the Comet Spear. It's now a 5 versus 3. Array still healthy, but needs to put more distance between himself and these opponents. Gets gets hit by a Void Seeker. Levitate doesn't have the killer instinct any longer, but there's no flash for Array. He's slowed up. He's jumped onto by Kizno. Obstinatus pumps him over the wall. Here's going to be Griffin trying to find an engage angle in. Gets himself right on towards Levitate. True Shot Barrage will execute him. It's a 1-for-1 exchange in that one, but the front line is completely cold. Obstinatus no ultimate. Peach Cats have to back away.
Peach Cats start that fight exactly how their comp needs to. They set up a line in the sand and they keep distance from Milk Esports. Every time Milk get a bit closer, they take a step back, just lobbing in damage from Hui, damage from Ezreal. It's even forcing out the ult from Kizno to try to gap close. They continue to walk back. It's working so well. They get the mid tower, they push in, and they think they find 5 mini, but now they're overcommitting. Now they're in melee range, and Milk Esports comp is just so much better in those fights. Sejed's caught.
Yeah, mistake from Sejed, just walks up into the bushes, face checks, killed by Array, and that's a shutdown. This guy was 0-0-10 coming into that battle, so great gold on towards Array, and what should be a free dragon here. This is going to be soul point for the Peach Cats. Major mistake from Sejed, perhaps the first this series from him, and Peach Cats once again find a way to keep themselves in the conversation. Obstinance is finding an angle onto Kizno now. One more auto will get the CC. They dive everybody in. They get the knock up onto Levitate. Asila is on the flank. Stray executes one. Knock up into the wall. Gives Griffin the other. Otacon fresh for the taking. And the Peach Cats have found an angle to take control of game number 2.
Milk Esports just way too not on the same page. They're 5 minis here, but Brush, Hoarder, pushing the mid lane straight.
But the turret is amping up. The turret is pumping out the damage. 5 and he finds the execute and will be able to stay alive. Takes 2, 3 turret shots, but is still alive. That inhibitor one was not amped up, so they will get the inner turret. It is in trade for the fight and for the Otacon, but that execution and that turret going to help keep Milk in the gold lead.
Peach Cats were able to secure the Otacon. Milk Esports get that tower in the mid lane and nearly taking a stumble there. Some kills, but Baron has spawned. The gold lead still favors Milk Esports quite significantly. There is 3 Drakes for Peach Cats, so it's about dragon sacking up against this gold lead for Milk Esports. We are level 16 with items upgraded for 5 mini. We have the full, I believe, 3 item upgrade for Levitate. Should be W upgrade as well.
Thinks he's found Griffin here, and ooh, a very early audacious charge will cause him to be grounded, but the damage from Array and Asila is not to be ignored. Wow. Array takes him down. Levitate finding some nice poke off of these shots from the Void Seekers, but not going to be able to kill her instinct in, and they're going to start off the Baron. They think that pick on the Kizno is enough.
Water has TP, pushing down the bot side, but he is in Mega, so won't have it if he TPs in for this. You're looking for a hero steal from Kizno, but he doesn't have flash. It might just be a Realm Warp out here from 5 mini, but he's CC'd. He's going to be
Orders on
taken out. No.
I gotta keep your eyes on that one. The Baron going to come on through. Kizno able to not get there in time, but the inhibitor is getting pressured by Hoarder. They need to be able to send members back. It's a TP out from 5 mini. Actually, it's a TP down to the bottom side. He's gonna help Hoarder try to take this inhibitor and get out, but has he overcommitted? It's gonna be a flash in from Stray, finding the slow, all out on the 5 mini, dashing forward on towards Hoarder. Realm Warp though, looking to get them both out, but the knockup is found by Griffin. Realm Warp interrupted, takes the rise down for the first time this game, and Peach Cats will not let that turret fall unpunished.
Milk Esports just mistake after mistake. Sejed caught twice in a row around crucial objectives. Hoarder has TP, goes Mega at the wrong time, continues the push. 5 mini decides, okay, no, I'll TP in, we'll keep it going. But the Baron enhanced recalls from Peach Cats allow them to contest the push, end up canceling the Realm Warp, and it's disaster for Milk Esports. Peach Cats now Baron on 5, look to push in and nearly eclipse this gold lead. If Baron goes well, you'll be looking at soul point for Peach Cats, and the gold lead for Milk completely dried up.
Beautiful play from Peach Cats, starting to gobble this Milk right up. Here it comes Kizno, looking for the big engage, gets his way onto Asila. Flash does not matter. A quick execution by Milk to make this a 5 versus 4, but now they have to try to keep themselves from getting collapsed on Array, just pumping the damage through onto Kisno. Manages to proc the Guardian Angel. What a shot on the Mystic shot from Array to be able to find that execution, but I do think Obstinatus is going down. Levitate welcomes him to NA and claims himself another kill.
How much is this really going to get, though? Because you lose Flash on Pantheon, you lose Flash and Ghost on Kai'Sa, and there's still 50 seconds until this next Drake has spawned. You really have to hold this grip on the map as...
Griffin wants this fight.
Caught.
Yeah, he's got Stray coming on in with him. There's the all-out into the backside. Going to find that stun into the wall is Sejed, but they've already executed Hoarder. Slow from the wind becomes lightning. Pull in from the Antofo strikes. And 2 more fall to the Peach Cats. A numbers advantage for them as Obstinatus respawns. And they keep control over Summoner's Rift.
Exactly what I was talking about. How much does this fight really win you for Milk Esports? You've lost some crucial summoner spells, and the respawn timers aren't long enough. Peach get back on the map, continue their push. They still have another 20 seconds of Baron, should be able to take down this mid inhibitor turret. Probably not the inhibitor to boot, but they'll just be able to walk out. Dragon spawns, and I think Milk Esports have no business contesting this Drake. Should be sold easily over to Peach Cats.
Yeah, they're going to claim this one. They will be rocking Ocean Soul for the remainder of this game. A 3 Ocean Drake Ocean Soul as well, slightly better than the 2 Ocean Drake Ocean Soul. They will be able to sustain through these fights even better. I think probably about as good of a soul as you could hope for on this kind of poke-focused composition. It'll let you stay completely topped off if you get into these kind of extended pitched battles that are what you're looking for, and it'll increase the chances that you can stay alive if you do get jumped onto and have to rely on Obstinatus and Griffin and Stray to create space.
Yeah, absolutely right. And Milk Esports would have loved 1, 2, even individual Ocean Drakes there, but they get none. They have 1 singular Chemtech Drake, which does absolutely nothing this game. A little bit of healing and shielding power. I guess Seraph's is a little bit better. Some of the shielding from Pantheon potentially coming in with the boots upgrade, but not really anything to write home about. Hoarder forced the TP out, yeah. Baron's in 2 minutes, so Milk Esports can't even rush it with the tempo they had on the top side, forced to use some crucial tools here, and Peach Cats, all they really need to do here, walk in together, use their range advantage to clear out the dark places of the map, put down some vision, base, do it again, base, do it again. 2 minutes time, the Baron will spawn, and Milk Esports, they really need these fights to go their way onto the Ezreal, right? 5-1 for Array. He hasn't been found at all this game, really. And even though Asila has taken some stumbles, the AoE damage from this Hui has been nothing but detrimental for Milk Esports.
Shoving in virtually every lane now, getting control over that top side. They're going to actually send this TP up towards the Baron. Still a ways to go until that Baron spawns, but they just want to make sure to take and hold control for as long as they possibly can, keeping the shove in top, keeping the shove in mid, using the superior wave clear of this Hui, and letting Stray just match things on the bottom side, knowing that it's going to be very difficult to pick him off and kill him. He's a 3-item Cassante, just wave clearing all day long. So Baron, in the eyes of the Peach Cats, it's very face up what they want here, but question is, can Milk do anything to stop them?
And in game 1, we were unhappy with the performance on this Nico for Obstinatus, but honestly a harder matchup this time with the Alistair into Poppy has found a ton of value, some great engages, and this is Alistair's best part of the game when he's in darkness waiting for you to walk into him, where it's impossible for you to react to the engage with the steadfast presence. Baron now 5 seconds away. Kisno's on the bottom side, clearing out a little bit of vision. They'll spot Stray. And TP is available for 5 mini, but he's in the bot side. This looks like just a Baron give
Well, Stray dropped the bot wave for a while here. Feimini going to look to take this inhibitor. Meanwhile, Kizno will be able to join in with the Grand Starfall. Stray going to find his way into melee range up against Feimini, but will get rooted up. Now let's take a look at the Baron. It's down to half HP. Obstinate is going to jump back over the wall, looking for the knockup onto Hoarder, but he will go Mega here very soon. Kizno jumped in, but it was a little bit early. Did not use the Grand Starfall, though. He's going to have that as another pathway in. He also still has the Flash. TP being channeled by Stray, one similarly being channeled by Feimini to be able to get over into this fight. Stray now is here. They have their front line looking for the punt. Not going to connect. It's Shed forced to flash back away. Feimini was actually recalling. He's just started channeling his TP now, so he's going to be here a little bit later. The Baron down to 3.5k, but Peach Cats are able to juggle it. They've got the Ocean Soul to keep regenning their health back up, and Kizno starting to get poked now, starting to feel the pain of this Peach Cats composition. Levitate loses half his HP, and that's the signal that the Peach Cats need to get into the fight. Array sections off Levitate, forces out the flash, but kills him with one more shot anyways. Now coming in on the flank, going to continue to rain through the damage. True Shot Barrage goes wide, scores a field goal up against Milk, but they jump back onto the Baron. They've successfully pushed Milk away from the fight, and Peach Cats will get their second Baron of the game.
As the range and this Ocean Soul is just too much for Milk to handle. The Keeper's Verdict goes wide. Very nice arcane shift from Array to dodge that out. And Peach Cats, they play so slow around the Baron. They think they can take the fight. Milk Esports, they think they can take the fight. They get baited in. Peach Cats say, we're going to finish this, we're going to finish this. And just as Milk Esports walk in, they say, no, we're not going to finish this. We back off. And now Levitate caught out of position. Baron gets restarted up after the fight, and Baron on 5. There is a potential Elder fight, though, in 1 minute's time for Milk Esports to maybe flip, but again, it's this range advantage for Peach Cats. There is simply no way in for Milk Esports.
Yeah, I mean, it's range advantage plus the addition of that Ocean Soul, right? But meanwhile, though, Array getting jumped onto by Kizno gets back over the wall, but he finds that Shed is channeling a Hex Flash right in his face. Levitate comes in with the Killer Instinct. Array steps up too far once and finds himself killed. Griffin going to join him as well. Asyla's getting collapsed on Peach Cats. It may be all crumbling here. Asyla needs to be able to get away. They need his wave clear to avoid just losing the game straight up after they've played so well for 35 minutes. Get out of there, Asyla!
Array gets caught at a crucial moment. It's 20 seconds until Elder, Gordo. You cannot be losing the most important member at a crucial time like this. No flash now, no cleanse now. 20 seconds on the respawn timers, and we'll do a little bit of damage to the base, but it's Elder in the eyes of Milk Esports.
If you listen closely, you can hear Colomer screaming in the distance. It's audible all the way over there in Australia. Gebetto, he's losing his mind. I can't believe it. Peach Cats, a major mistake for Array is gonna cost them Elder. They need to wait this out now.
And it's up to Milk Esports now to press their foot down on Peach Cats. Elder on 5, not the longest objective. So you need to base here, spend that gold that you just got from winning the fight, getting the shutdown off of Array, and honestly, you need to win the game now. You can't wait until Baron. Maybe if you can set up enough control to get Baron off of that, but then still the recontest with Peach Cats, with this Ocean Soul, is devastatingly good. So this is a time now that you need to win. I need to see some great macro, push out these waves, break open the base, and end the game here. Any fight that Milk Esports take will be winning due to Elder Drake. But it's hard. You don't have a whole lot of time here. Some good regen on this Ocean Soul as Milk Esports approach the base.
A little bit more time with that Elder, and like you said, yeah, I think this is the window for Milk. They've been gifted a path into this game here. They found the pick. This is what you need when everything has gone wrong, when Peach Cats have been able to scale into the game, when they've won the fights that they needed to win and are set up to be able to take everything. This is where you at least need to get multiple inhibitors down. You at least need to create advantages on the map so that you can force odd-numbered fights later. Even if you can't straight up win off of an engage right now, keep that pressure on. Keep the push going. They're going for the full 1-3-1 here. They find another inner, but I think they need inhibitors. Should be considering a 4-1 if that's what it takes, because there's just perma clearing going on from Asyla. He is the best wave clearer in this game right now. Feimini trying to pressure out of the bottom, but he's low mobility, no flash. has to be plenty afraid. They're going to shift into the 4-1 now. They send Hoarder into the mid lane. They dive into the back line. They're getting everything on towards Asila. Griffin and Stray doing his best to be able to defend him. Stray gets on top of Levitate. Levitate will be executed. It's a trade of mid laner for bot laner. Kisno trying to step forward at risk of being executed. Array is still safe, trying to rain through the damage. Cannot finish off Kisno, though. It's a 1-for-1 trade. They get one inhibitor. Can they get a second? Hoarder looking for it. Throws through 1, 2, 3 boomerangs and will claim a second inhibitor for Milk Esports. They've got what they came for. They can back away now.
Yeah, they do some very needed damage to the base as Elder will wear off in a couple of seconds here. As soon as the Baron wears off for Peach Carrots, you can see Milk Esports feel a lot more confident to step up. They send it in for a fight, but hold on.
They set a trap onto Griffin and they collapse it. Griffin is executed by the Elder Dragon, and now there might be an angle to take even more. Obscenitus pops his ghost to be able to create a little bit more distance, and Asila respawning in 5 seconds means I don't think they can end off of just that one pick.
Well, they can set up some good vision now, contest around this Baron as Elder wears off. So that's the last execute you'll be able to get with the Dragon Fire. And some luxury items getting completed here. We are nearly 6 items for Levitate. We are nearly 6 items for 5 Mini. We have the GA and the Sterax for Kisno, the Sterax for Hoarder. Very strong team now that have developed more of a gold lead again. And because these full items haven't been finished by everybody, it is impactful. But on the other side, Array, the member that got caught, that gave over this Elder, is full build with GA. He needs to step up. We cannot have a mistake like we just saw from Array anymore in this game if Peach Cats don't want to lose 2-0.
Need to steady themselves here. They felt so confident after that successful Baron. Such good execution of the game plan to stall things out, hold that Baron at 3k, abuse their range advantage and the Ocean Soul to secure it, and that's replicatable. The Baron is coming back up in 15 seconds. The problem is that they lost 2 inhibitors. Milk now has an extra piece on the board that they can use to pressure here. Hoarder going to be able to push on that bottom side. They're going to recall Stray to try to answer that push, but 5 Mini is going to be doing the same from the top side. Stray can't answer both at once. They're going to need to do this Baron a little bit faster this time or risk losing more of their base. A mistake here could cost you the entire game. It's a Realm War coming in from 5 Mini. Nice CC immunity from Stray, going to avoid getting Nard back into the wall, but they're still taking him for all that he's worth. The damage of 5 Mini is substantial. Hoarder looking for the execute. Stray can't get out. One Nexus turret being pressured. TP coming through. It's Asila rejoining the fight. Gonna be able to one-shot 5 Mini, but now Milk get access to the Baron. Peach Cats have decided to give it up to save the game, but Baron buff will be worn by Milk Esports.
The macro is just excellent from Milk Esports here. Hoarder pushes in, 5 Mini ready with the Realm Warp to enter the base, forces PC to leave the Baron. They sacrifice their mid laner, but they get Baron on 4. And Gordo, not many times can you say this, but it's going to be a second Elder Drake in 50 seconds. This one's even stronger. It's got more HP. I mean, Ocean Soul still for Peach Cats here.
What's that in him respawn timer looking like, Jay Beto?
Too long.
That's what they're gonna have to look for now. The Nexus turret respawns too, so taking one of those not nearly as impactful as it may have been in times past. And this Elder, it's gonna be where the game is probably decided. Although I think I could have said that for several epic monsters now. 3 Barons in this game, 2 Elders. Obscenitus might be up too far. Pops the Summoner heal to create some space. And this is a near full build Hoarder. And you can see the damage he's pumping into Stray with that Wit's End Black Cleaver Trinity Force build. Really making things difficult for Cassante to actually play out this side lane. As the top laners duke it out, Stray has TP, Hoarder does not. Array takes a massive chunk, but there's a flash in from Griffin. Gets on towards Levitate. He goes into the stasis, tries to flash away. Knocked up by Obscenitus. It's Asila finishing off the kill. And it's a flash away from Sajed at a sliver of HP. 5 Mini is TPing into the base, and the rest of Peach Cats need to get themselves over there. Somebody has to channel the recall. It can't be just Stray doing this alone. They find 2 more kills, but they've got to get back. They've got to get back right now, but there's not enough time. Hoarder and 5 Mini start to work on the next hit. Down below half. Hoarder Milker's able to finish it. 5 and he has the damage, and Milk Esports sneak away the game.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous. That was insane. 2 elders, multiple trying to sneak the end. Oh, heartbreak for Peach Cats because they're winning that fight and they're just not able to get back in time. But Milk Esports, props to be able to see that angle multiple times. The slip in the armor for Peach Cats. Their base is open. They're not able to defend it. The Baron is still on for Milk Esports. And I mean, God, I'm not going to lie. You said to me before this game started, before this set started, it's a 2-0, maybe a 2-1, more on side of 2-0. And I said, maybe it's a 2 to 0.5. And there is literally no other way to describe how that set went.
Yeah, you really called it with the 2 to 0.5 there. Look at the gold graph. You could see the moment where the 0.5 happens.
God.
You can see a clear moment where the lead gets back. There's the tiniest sliver of blue there. If you had a microscope between 33 and 36 minutes, you can see a tiny little blue bump there where the lead goes into the side of the Peach Cats. And they had it. I mean, gold aside, they had it in their hands when they secured that Baron buff. It's one mistake, one pick that loses them control despite Baron, loses them Elder, that loses them 2 inhibitors, that loses them control for the next Baron, that loses them parts of their base, that loses them the next Baron, and that loses them the Elder fight, which loses them the base. Everything snowballing from just one minor mistake. And it's a heartbreaker for Peach Cats. Like I said, you can hear the cries of Colomer from here. He had that game. His team had that game. But what stalwartness from Milk Esports to know what their win condition is, find the pick they needed, and execute from that point onward.
I mean, it really excellent comeback from Peach Cats in that second game, but it really comes down to Array getting caught at this level. You cannot let that happen. Any tiny stumble like that just leads to a cataclysm of events, a domino effect that ends up you losing the game in a heartbreaking fashion. And it feels really awkward to say, well, you just can't get caught there, man. That kind of ended the game for us. But at this level, it's just the smallest mistakes, smallest missteps that end up in a game like this. And it is heartbreaking. That is all you can say. But Milk Esports, they're happy with that 2-0, cementing themselves as the top team in their group.
Yeah, currently working our way to figure out an interview. All right, we will have an interview with Sajed talking about his support debut. So very excited for that one here. In the interest of Sajed's time, we're going to throw it to a quick break here while we get him pulled on in. But we will see everybody in just a couple of moments while we talk to Sajed. Welcome back, everybody, to the ACL, where we are joined by the victorious, recently debuted support, Sajed. Thank you very much, Sajed, and congrats on the 2-0.
Thank you, and glad to be here.
Great. Yeah, let's start off with that one. So this was, I think, your first stream match on support. I could be wrong. Maybe there's something way back in the archives that I'm forgetting about. But what's it like to come out here and play support for Levitate, take the other half of the bot lane for a change?
Yeah, I did play Monday. I don't know if that was streamed. We played against, I think, a college team. I'm not sure.
You were
But-
a CCG, I believe. If that was you, I didn't realize that was you. But oh
Yeah,
no,
I played the
CCG was
first two
PCAS. I'm
matches.
sorry, you were against ULAC Conviction.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it's fun. We're 280 mains, so we're talking about like we'll flex the picks. If he wants to play this, I could play ADC. You play support, and I mean we're just vibing. It's just 5 chums doing what they do.
Good stuff.
Now,
Good
so it kind
stuff.
of reminds me of the T1 Academy bot lane when Reckless went over and they played kind of the double AD carry style. They used to swap each other out and play different stuff. But I want to touch on this Poppy pick. I thought it was a really great pick. Want to ask, was it, did you guys have predictions for the draft that you wanted to go that on 5 before the Alistair Ezreal? We kind of had a bit of discussions about it on the draft. Obviously no leaking, but yeah, was it pre-planned maybe, before the second ban phase, or was it just kind of an in the moment thing?
No, I had to counter pick, and I'm just gonna pick the champ that I find best into their champs. It's good into their top side and a pretty decent matchup into the Alistar. Honestly, in our discussions for draft, like at the moment, we had a lot of ideas, maybe put in the Pantheon support or flexing some picks around, but at the end, we had to just keep it simple, pick the Poppy. It was a good angle for it.
Very nice, very nice. So things get a little dicey in game number 2. Really tight at one point where the Baron's getting held at 3K. They got Ocean Soul, they got the range. They're poking you guys out. They're able to secure it. How is the comms and what is kind of the game plan with the team when you are kind of trying to come back from that kind of position after they secure second Baron and it's getting real difficult to be able to execute up against this Ocean Soul?
Yeah. To be honest, the game only got dicey because I was just sprinting it down. I don't really know how to play this role that much. We need Manui back. I'm just filling in, and we kind of locked in. We realized maybe fights a little too hard. I was playing the fights pretty poorly. Like I think if I just ult some people and get an Eve going for my Kaisa, we just win no matter what. But I was just sprinting it low key. So my team adapted. They adjusted. They said, "Hey, our support just sucks and is running it down. Let's go backdoor and cancel some bases."
Very nice, very nice. So you guys were obviously looking at the backdoor. Previously, you had attempted it at the earlier Baron where 5 mini Realm Warps in, got caught. You guys do get the ban. Were you, after that, saying that we want to look for the backdoor? Or was it just kind of an in-the-moment decision again where as soon as there's an option, we're going to TP and then go for the end?
I think we wanted to keep Porter 1v1 doing his thing because he was a lot stronger than Cassante. Cassante can't really hold him down. And I was pretty confident on 4v4. I think we misplayed some things, and 5 Mini just thought on his feet. He's like, "Hey, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go TP," and they kind of did their thing while we stopped some bases. It was, we talked about it. I think we're more confident in the 4v4, but anything to just get the game going.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, apart from today's game, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. Reigning NACL MVP Sajed, we know you're moving away from Dark Zero after this season. How's off season looking so far? What's up next for Sajed? What can you share?
Pretty slow, honestly. I don't know how much I can say, but
okay,
maybe I'll be in LCS, maybe I won't. It's pretty slow. I'll be playing next split for sure, though.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that second part as great news for everybody. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Sajed. We'll let you go here.
Thank you guys.
Anybody you want to shout out? Anything else you want to say before we close out ACL for the night?
Just shout out Milk. I'm just their sub, just doing my thing, helping them out. So shout them out. Shout out my teammates.
Good stuff, good stuff. Well, best of luck in the offseason, Sajed, and best of luck to the rest of Milk for the rest of the ACL season. Sure, we will see more of this squad as the season continues. Thank you for everybody who tuned on in at home. That's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. We will be back on Monday, same bat time, same bat Twitch channel, 8 p.m. Eastern for another featured match. stay tuned to the ACL Twitter and the ACL Discord for what will be featured there. Shout out once again to Zen Market. Remember, that's code Aegis and code Aegis25 for 1,000 yen off your shipping fee and 25% off your first order, respectively. That's going to do it. For myself, Jay Beto, and Caddy on Prod, we'll see everybody next time.
Bro, just use Zen Market.